Hello, good people. Emmanuel Sanj Safali bringing you a very special episode of the Promise Insurance Show. We are still talking about the financial wellness webinar that UAP Old Mutual presented alongside Postbank. That was in the year 2022. And as you will hear, we are discussing about Christmas times, but these are discussions that can cut across no matter the timing, whether it is the beginning of the year, mid-year, or end of the year. So we have a brilliant moderator, Mildred Putohaise, who has been interviewing the different panelists of the day. And this time let's hear her asking the board chair, the chairman board of UAP Old Mutual Life, that is Professor Samuel Ssejaka, and his take on how the general industry is of insurance and the general awareness of Ugandans. He also talked about, we also bring in a lecturer or this worker, a client of UAP, but also a lecturer with Bank of Uganda, that is Gloria, giving her take on how she sees the general outlook of financial wellness or literacy of our society, Uganda. So please keep tuned and listen into this discussion. Thank you.
Professor Samuel, if I could come back to you, and I think maybe Gloria could also talk about this. There's so many ventures, there's so many aspects. Everyone, when they try to speak to an investment venture, probably they've been a part of and it's been successful, you feel like, oh, I need to join that. Then there is another beautiful story and you're thinking, I need to join that. And you're somewhere lost in the middle. So apart from just banking, which other ventures do you think Ugandans can be able to invest in to be able to grow their finances? Because it's one thing to have the finances and it's another thing to grow them.
Wow, that's a very difficult one, Mildred. I don't know why you picked on me. There are better experts here, but I'll try. But the first thing I want to say as part of this financial wellness class is a lot of us get into business because we have had somebody talking about it. And you remember I referred to the things that you were never taught in school. It was not until I read a book called The Richest Man in Babylon, and it talked about not getting advice from bricklayers. So don't get advice on financial matters from bricklayers, okay? Don't get advice on gold from people who do bricklaying. And whenever I say it to people, they say, no, I'm insulting them. But the point here, or the lesson from the book here, is that for all of us, if you want to start a business, because all of us who are working, they want to start that side hustle. So you want to go and grow trees because you have heard people are growing trees. You want to do poultry because you hear somebody is doing poultry. And there's some people who go around telling people that you can become rich doing this. So you get into these ventures and you put your hard-earned savings when you don't have knowledge. So I guess for any business that somebody would want to do, can we first learn that the first thing is to understand, so that you're not a bricklayer trying to be a farmer, okay? So can you first learn what are the intricacies of that business? Even if it is growing trees, you will find after 2 years that actually you planted the wrong ones. Simply because you didn't get into a group of people who grow what? Trees. If you are keeping goats, you will find you bought the wrong breed. So there are so many intricacies about whatever business you want to do. So the first thing is, have you gotten the basic knowledge of what should be done in that business? These days people talk a lot about coffee growing, and I know some people have gone to grow coffee because we say mwanyi zabala. So you then ask people, but which is the right coffee? Did you do soil tests and so forth? So that is the first big lesson for financial wellness. Don't invest in something that you do not understand. First go and be taught Go be modest with yourself, be humble, have humility, and learn. Now, when you talk about the other things that I think are important for us, in terms of what we're talking about today, and why we have Post-Bank here, and UAP Old Mutual, the thing about risk is the first product all of us should have is health insurance. Now, I don't know how many people who are listening or who are viewing this conversation have health insurance. And that is why in COVID they were saying that very many of us are just one incident away from disaster. One of those disasters is really if you have a sickness in the family, you have an accident or whatever. These days, border accidents are a way of life. So if you have one of these unfortunate events and you don't have health insurance, who betide you? So that is one thing. The other one, I think Gloria has given enough witness. Yeah. We have the SOMESA plan. By the way, I didn't get there accidentally. I'm a member of the board of UAP Life. So I am also here to be Takarango for them. So when you have this investment with a purpose and your kids get to university, you have a buffer, you have some kind of protection. So those are also products in which you can invest your savings. Now, Ugandans have not understood that these are also what? Products in which you can invest. So you can talk about health insurance, you can talk about education and life as other things apart from the other ones which we invest in. Because there's a sense in which we always want to invest in physical, starting with the brick and mortar, and then the trees, you know. A lot of the conversions I hear, and I personally, I have burnt my fingers in most of those ones. Trees, you find the neighbors put the goats they are eating from there. Because you're a telephone what? A telephone farmer. Poultry, you get all these disasters because you didn't know which vaccines to do what? To buy. But as you do some of those things, there is also a realm where you can move into intangible investments. And these are the ones I'm really talking about. That can we, as part of your financial wellness, begin to talk in terms of a portfolio. Yes, it is nice to have some apartments, to have a house, and so forth. But it is equally nice to have a product, an asset called health insurance. It is equally nice to have an asset called SOMESA Plus, or education for your what? For your children. It is equally nice to have life insurance. Supposing life assurance, supposing you die, what happens? And this Gloria has adequately brought out. So I guess, I hope I've answered your question.
Yeah.
But one needs to start by having humility and say, I want to do this. Who has the best knowledge in this? But also, who has succeeded?
Sure.
Don't go into a new field, and be the proverbial bricklayer. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Prof. I think Gloria can also add up on this one.
Thank you very much, Mildred. I do teach financial management. People call me Musomesa, so outside there, I teach. That's why I see two things going around. I had sent you one for me as Gloria, but I've seen their profile for me as an employee of the central bank. That's also part of risk management, because you need to be able to stand on your own when your employer wakes up and says you go home. You shouldn't say, now me, I'm going to drink and die, as if when you went to school, you went to study for that employer. So as I've told you, I like to refer to the Bible, because even if there are 10,000 books, I find everything. People tell me, I read this book, I found it there. Me, normally, I find it. So one time when I was when I was teaching in finance, we tell the students, you must be diversified. Don't put all your eggs in one what? Basket. So don't say, I heard Gloria saying SOMESA plan. As long as I have SOMESA plan, I am chiwede. You have to put your eggs in more than one basket. And so in the Bible, in Ecclesiastes chapter 11, verse 12, it says that Divide your investments among many places because you do not know what risks may lie ahead. And it says in verse 6, plant your seed in the morning and keep busy, for you do not know if profit will come from one activity or another, or maybe both. So in other words, even the Bible, you know, you people, you only read where they say all weapons formed against me shall not be prosper, even when you are the weapon. So, but the Bible has a lot of counsel if you read it from Genesis to Revelations. Yeah, it doesn't have only those words which are for your enemies. So the Bible tells us we should put at least in how many? At least 7 or what? Now, when they say 7 or 8, also helping people is an investment, because those you have helped, that day it doesn't shine in your compound, they are the ones who will do what? Who will help you. So when we say investing, don't say, now I will not help people, I'm going to invest. Helping and charity works are also part of investment. So I always tell people, you invest according to your schedule, your personality, if sometimes your religion and the circumstances under which you live. There are some investments I call laying a bed for your money and it sleeps while it gives you profit. For example, I've told you the Isomesa plan, as long as the debit has gone, you wait to get the statement. If you have a sure deal investment, those are products from UAP, but you're going to pay me for all this advertisement. As a marketer now, if you have a sure deal, okay, many banks have an equivalent. Because before I learned about the sure deal, I used to have a certain investment where you're aiming at buying land in December, so you start in January. But then I learned also the sure deal that you can say in 5 years, now I have got a job, it is 5 years. So at the end of 5 years, I need to have this amount. Every month, put aside. First save, then play with what remains. Yeah, so there are those. There is something like if you invest in bonds, if you have a reasonable size of money and you buy a government bond, I can assure you, it is better than rent. You buy it, it has a coupon of 17%. Even if they remove withholding tax, that coupon will just find you. You will just see a message on your phone. So that's why I say you have laid a bed for your money and you have kept it there to do what? To sleep, and you get returns. You don't only make money by running around with the tenants. They run away. Then tomorrow when they go, you realize all the rent they paid for 6 months. You have to repair the house. They have vandalized it. It's a good investment also. When you find the person who is obsessed with real estate, they will tell you that's the only one. If you find a farmer who has made it in life through farming, they will tell you that is the only thing that exists in life. If you find one who is rearing rabbits or chicken, everybody can make it according to what they do. So the first thing is invest in knowledge. Before you got a job where you work, you went to school. It means you spent, not so. You spent money, you acquired knowledge. So if you want to learn how to rear chicken, I was joking with the CEO, you can first get 100 of them. First invest in little money, which if it goes away, you will not blame your auntie for having bewitched you. You will have known the reason why the chicken died. Then if you add in and they become 200, and maybe some of them died, now you will have got even more experience before you put in all your savings. And then you start calling people witches and praising the devil. You know, sometimes people think when they are blaming the devil, yet they are praising the devil by saying, you know, the devil came, the devil, meaning you're saying the devil is very powerful. So invest in knowledge. Many of us say we don't have time. Before I started my small business I told you I train students CPA. Of course, I'm not as big as Mr. Samuel, but I am somewhere, okay, in my own market. And we are partners. And he was my teacher, and we are very great friends. So when I joined the bank, there was they brought us someone to talk to us about retirement, because people would retire and they die. And so they said, that man told me, PK, the day has 24 hours for everybody. If you want more time, you can buy it. So you can buy more time and have your day have 40 hours. Okay? And also 8 hours you must sleep. 8 hours if you have a job, 8 to 5 job, they are at their work. The other 8, it is up to you to leave them blaming, to be on Facebook or to, so you can use them. So you use your time well. You can learn in the car. Do you have to listen to all the chidandali that goes? Because remember, there are many gates to our minds, and out of the abundance of our minds, we overflow through our keyboards, through our mouth, through our driving. It's because of our mind. But what goes in our mind goes through the gates on our ears, our eyes, etc. Why don't you listen to a course? Okay, if you want to learn about how can I start a business, why don't you listen to one of those YouTube? You know, YouTube doesn't have only nudes. It actually has a lot of knowledge. You can get a PhD from YouTube.
Okay.
Why don't you listen to that and you learn? So get knowledge. Do what you can. Don't do it because your neighbor is doing it. Me, I teach. And I know when I go in class and I teach the students, just seeing me, they will be happy. But I don't think when I walk into Chikubo, I can easily attract the same customers like those people who I see. For them, they have 200 customers lining. But that is not how I was made. So look also at your passion. What is that God put in you? Okay, and God, and you can only prosper in that what is in you, not what is in Him or what is in the other.
Okay.
So what is that is in you? Yeah, ask God to use that what is in you, the same way He used Moses' rod, and you will do it.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Gloria.
Wow, welcome back from that insightful talk from our very good Professor Samuel Ssejaka, and also a very brilliant aspect or perspective of Gloria, who really made our day that day. So we believe you have really benefited from that segment. So let's now listen in to the CEO of the Uganda Insurance Association, that is John Ntisache, talking about why testimonials are very important in our industry of insurance and what the way forward is for the whole association, insurance association. What is their plan going forward? We hope that 2023 is going to be a year of awareness. So let's hear it on his take, and then we shall conclude with the MD of Postbank talking about the effects of interest rates on the general financial wellness of our society. Keep tuned.
John, I want to come to you, and already there is a question that as well also come through from online. Those who are online, you can as well send in your questions, and we'll be able to have them through. We're talking about growing finances, but on the bit of the insurance sector, how has the insurance sector contributed towards the growth and protection of personal finances? Growth and protection are actually the keywords, but also from online, if you could, someone is asking about throwing more light on the agriculture insurance scheme. And I think that's also coming through because there's so many people, when they're thinking about investment, we're either planting trees or we want to go into agriculture or something like that.
Okay, thank you. I'll try and be as brief as possible. I know we are almost running out of time. But I wanted to say just one thing, that if you look at the churches, and I'm glad we have a pastor on the panel, if you look at why churches and pastors have been very successful, they have relied on about three things. Number one is testimony, number two is drama, number three is music. Listening to Gloria give her testimony on the advantages that have come along because of the product she took from UAP was very impactful. And I want to commend UAP and the Postbank for bringing her on board. And if we can get many more to testify of the goodness of insurance, we'll be making inroads. And you will see soon the Uganda Insurers Association changing a bit of tactics. Because for us, we would want to benchmark and say, how can we do things differently to sensitize and disseminate insurance information? Because we've done it all. We were at the World Savers Day just 2 days ago with Bank of Uganda and Uganda Institute of Bankers and Financial Services. And the staff of the institute came and dramatized saving through a very short skit. But the impact that it had, and in there were a number of CEOs, from the financial services sector. But the focus and concentration and uptake of this information was very, very high. So people relate to testimonies. People relate to drama. And I can guarantee you that as the UIA, you're going to see a lot of this within this space to promote insurance. But going back to what you've asked me in terms of what we do to protect and grow, I think I don't want to repeat what Gloria mentioned, because she basically almost answered this question perfectly well. But I want to add and expand a bit or supplement by saying that what insurance will do for you is, number one, provide you with a product. Now, members who are listening, members who are watching, I want them to understand that the first saving and investment product is an insurance product. If you look at, for example, medical that the professor was talking about, if you look at the sort of premiums, and I saw James in the, as part of those who are listening attentively, if you ask James the sort of claims he's paying in medical vis-a-vis the premiums received, the relationship is not there. Medical currently has loss ratios of about 80%. But we are there as the insurance industry to support. You will find that without medical insurance, for example, many Ugandans would not be able to afford decent health care. That is the first saving product you must take, an insurance product. Even if it's a motor policy, even if it's a life policy, that is the first savings product, because the benefits far outweigh the premium that you're going to pay. I don't know what rate we are at when it comes to motor comprehensive, James. I don't know if you're still, I've not been on that side for long. I don't know if you're still at 4%. Can you imagine? For a motor vehicle of hundreds of millions of shillings at 4%. That is the first saving. Should anything happen, you call upon the insurance product. And for me, I think that is the first avenue, that we provide products so that the public out there that would want to plan have an option. And if we tap that and rate that to the testimony, then it works very well. But also the aspect of growth. And I think from the beginning, we talked about culture. Culture, culture, culture. What I have realized is that if we are going to change the culture, the savings culture, the investment culture, we must encourage people to take up insurance. If you are able to meet your premiums, for example, for a life policy on a monthly basis, you're already creating a what? A culture. So insurance is so critical when it comes to promoting savings, investments, very, very critical. Because the biggest problem we have is culture. And I'm glad that Postbank and UAP are forming this partnership. And I'm hoping that with the potential of Postbank, the way you're spread in terms of, you talked of 52 branches and all the agents that you do have, that now UAP can take advantage of that to design products that meet even the last customer of Postbank. Because we are here to create a culture. The banking side has sort of gained inroads, because if you have a bank account, you have access and you can check and see your balance at any one time, and even go and withdraw. Now with the power of the ATM, you would withdraw, change your mind, and then deposit that money back into the bank. How can we create that sort of relationship when it comes to insurance? Because this is critical. This is critical. That we are open in the way we do things. We need to be open. What information are we giving our customers? And for me, I must challenge you as UAP. What information and what power are you giving the customer in terms of the knowledge and the information and access to the policy that they have taken? You can imagine Gloria labored to even come and walk to the offices of UAP. She had the means. What about those customers that cannot? What can we do for those customers? So for me, saving, promoting a saving culture, insurance is the answer. If you want to invest, insurance is the answer through the different products that we offer, and through these partnerships of bank assurance. Again, I know that to date, bank assurance, I think, contributes about 10% to our premiums, growing at about 20%. So the potential through the channel of bank assurance is immense. So we are going to promote this partnership. Even next week, as the Uganda Insurers Association, we have the Bank Assurance Week. And Post Bank is one of the partners who has joined us in promoting bank assurance from 7th to 12th, that is next week. We are going to be talking about this channel, this very unique channel. One that has the potential to build trust, to disseminate information, and if we can tie along our products with banking and offer the customer the power through the technology enabled environment, I see us promoting savings, promoting investments, and the savings culture. Thank you.
Someone, anything about the agriculture insurance?
Okay, I had forgot. They wanted to know something about the agriculture scheme. Now, the agriculture scheme is a partnership between the government of Uganda and the Uganda Agriculture Insurance Scheme. So what happens is that the government of Uganda has subsidized the premiums for agriculture insurance by 50% in some of the disaster-prone areas. Agriculture insurance right now, as we speak, the uptake is so high that within the first quarter of this year, we had used up the subsidy. In fact, as we speak, we are in talks. Because if we are going to be able to protect the farmer, de-risk farming, help them access financing from Post Bank, insurance must be very close by. But currently, as we speak, we've used up the subsidy, but we are in talks with the government to increase the subsidy. The scheme sits at the Uganda Insurers Association, and if you go to our website, if you visit Uganda Agricultural Insurance Scheme, or AIC, Agro Consortium website, the good thing with agriculture insurance is that it has brought collaboration amongst all players. So the players have come together to offer capacity and be able to offer an insurance solution to farmers. So you won't only deal with the one insurer, but you are dealing with several insurers under a consortium, which again also should give confidence to the market. I mean, there are quite a number of things that we would talk about, but I know that through Post Bank, you can access agriculture loans, and through UAP, you can also access agriculture insurance. But it is something that we are pushing. It is growing. And as we speak, we've covered over 300,000 farmers. More are coming into the fold. But the challenge we have is that the subsidy has been used up, or is used up very, very fast in terms of the demand that we have for agriculture insurance. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And I love that that was another product to be taken up, agriculture, because more than 68% of Ugandans are either employed or just there. They're doing something there to either get a meal or be able to get some money. Coming to you, Mr. Kaketo, on the aspect of, because we've been talking about investment and saving and, you know, side hustling and all that, but there is one key aspect that remains, the finance, or that money, the capital, to be able to invest. And for many people, they may not have the capital at disposal. They seek to get loans, which is the most common capital that many people get. But with this increasing, you know, and skyrocketing interest rates, someone is asking, what is Post Bank, for example, doing to ensure that these loans, as much as we get them to invest and be able to do everything, they remain affordable to everyone? Or are you also going to come and explain economy? Because of economic times, we will increase from 10 to 50% or something like that.
Thank you, Mildred. I'm not surprised you brought up interest rates. Everywhere you go, it's a hot topic. Everyone wants us to talk about interest rates. But generally, in banking, rates are based on market rates. It is just a factor of supply and demand. So what banks normally do, they have what they call a prime rate, a benchmark rate. And it's from that they appraise you, say this is your risk, and then either increase or decrease against that prime rate. When interest rates go up, they also raise their prime rate. Now, for Post Bank, most of our book is on a fixed rate. It's not on a prime rate. Why? Because we recognize we have a lot of people who want fixed income, like salary earners. We have the low-income earners, actually, who can't quickly respond to changes in market dynamics. So the moment you give them a variable rate, then they will be in trouble. So for our customers, interest rates have gone up, but they have not felt anything because the contract you made that you return this amount of money every month is fixed. And that's like for 90%, 98% of our borrowers. They are on fixed rates. They are not on variable rates that move with the market rates. So we've committed ourselves, irrespective of where the cost of money goes high, what happens in the economy, these borrowers are paying the same amount of money every month. So they are not affected at all. They are well protected.
All right, what an amazing presentation we have had today, and I hope you will be tuned in for the last episode next Sunday. For today, we have listened into very brilliant panelists, Professor Ssejaka, we have heard from Gloria, we have heard from Julius Kaketo, the MD of Postbank. We have heard, of course, some briefly from Jonah Chisachi of Uganda Insurance Association. And it has been an amazing experience. We hope you will actually benefit. This is not just a discussion on just one particular product of UAP Old Mutual or Postbank. No, this is actually a very good outlook of the whole insurance industry. And that is why we partnered with our sponsors today to bring you this talk. And I will believe it will give you a very good understanding of how the finance and insurance industry really works. And they appreciate it also, where we stand on our side. So till next time, I remind you to hope for the best while preparing for the worst. I remain Emmanuel Safali, bring you the Promise Insurance Show. Keep tuned. Adios.